Hi, I'm Lori Sang. I'm the director of the Treasure Coast Early Steps program at Easter Seals, Florida. The Early Steps program is Florida's early intervention program that's authorized under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, Part C. And that section of the Act refers to children birth to age 3 or birth to 36 months that have a developmental disability or a developmental delay. Children that are eligible have a medical condition such as Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, hearing impairment, vision impairment, or children that have a developmental delay, and that's determined by completing a developmental evaluation. Children are referred to us through the court system. They have a shelter order given to you by the judge. If you're concerned about your child's development, please talk to your case manager or contact your child's physician. You can talk to them about concerns that you have with a child sitting up or crawling or walking, if your child's not communicating with you, if they're not responding to questions that you're asking them, if they're not able to hold their own bottle, if they're not able to pick up Cheerios or feed themselves. Those are things that we look at to determine whether or not a child in this age group is developmentally delayed. We want to compare them to other typically developing children in their age group. Once a referral is made to us, we will schedule a developmental evaluation within 45 days of the referral. Typically, you will come into our center, which is at the Easter Seals Igo Amar Child Development Center on Congress Avenue in West Palm Beach. We'll schedule an appointment for you at a time that's convenient for you, so we want to make sure that it works for you and for your child. So please make sure that you don't schedule an appointment during the child's nap time. We also want to have everyone that's important to the child to be there. So mom, dad, whoever else are caregivers within the child's life. And get information from your child's pediatrician to share with the evaluating team. They will conduct a full developmental evaluation using a standardized assessment tool. And we'll look at areas that include motor development. We'll look at how the child is holding their head up, how they're sitting, how they're crawling, how they're walking, and if they're old enough, how they're running and what their balance looks like. We'll also look at areas of communication, which includes how well does the child understand what we're saying to them and how do they communicate to us. And for children that speak more than one language, it's not unusual for them to have an expressive language delay, meaning the way that they speak to you may be a little more delayed because they're trying to process learning 2 languages at the same time. That's not unusual, and that would not be enough to make a child eligible for the Early Steps program. Other areas that we look at are cognitive development. We want to understand how well does that child understand what's going on around them. We look at their social skills. How do they interact with you and the other important people in their lives? And we also look at their self-help skills. And that includes things like, are they sucking, swallowing, and eating? Are they able to spoon feed themselves or hold a cup? For older children, we look at potty training, and are they ready for potty training? So those are the things that we're going to look at, and we ask that you share information with us freely when you bring your child in for this evaluation. You're an important member of that evaluating team. When you come to us, we also want to know what you hope to accomplish by participating in the Early Steps program. We need you to tell us what you want to accomplish. We don't want to just say, this is what we think we should do. We want to know what's important to you and why it's important so that we can focus our energies on helping your child reach the developmental milestones that are important. We also look at the daily routines that the child participates in throughout the day. So if he's at home with you or if he's at a daycare center, that information is important to share so that we can look at how they're developing and how they're participating in the daily routines that they have each day. We will establish outcomes or goals that we want to look at for your child and to make them successful throughout their routines. Most of the time, or every time, you will have a team coming to your home, working with you, or going to the child care center, wherever the child is throughout the day. You will not be asked to bring your child to a center. We don't want to interrupt your day. We want to become part of your child's daily routines and the activities that you and he participate in every day. We want to support you, we want to support your child, so make us part of the team that is working with you. The way that we look at eligibility is if a child has, as I said before, an established medical condition or a developmental delay. So if a child is experiencing a developmental delay that's significant, we will make them eligible. If a child is mildly delayed, they're not going to be eligible for the Early Steps program. In technical terms, we say that a child has to be demonstrating at least a delay of 2.0 standard deviations below the mean on a standardized evaluation tool, which means that mean is 100 points. If a child has a score of 70 and below in one area, then they're eligible. And we talked about the 5 areas of development before. So if a child has a score of 70 in one of those 5 areas, they will be eligible. If they have a score of 78 and below in 2 areas, then their child is eligible. But if their scores are higher than 78 across the board, they're not going to be eligible for early intervention services. That doesn't mean that they would not benefit from therapy or other support. And if that's the case, we will talk to you and guide you back to your child's pediatrician for a recommendation for possible therapy or other support services that are available in the community. If your child is eligible, we will develop an individual family support plan, which will identify the services to support the outcomes that you've already told us that you want your child to accomplish. We will help you in finding resources that are available throughout our community and put you in touch with providers that will come into your home. We will review that individual family support plan, or IFSP, every 6 months. That's a legal authorizing document for services through the Early Steps program. And we will continue with reviewing eligibility and reviewing the services that are provided to you every 6 months until your child turns 3, at which time we'll prepare you for transitioning out of Early Steps to go into Palm Beach County Public School Systems or other services that you choose to go into, such as Head Start or typical child care. We will work with you and your family until your child turns 3 and assist you every step of the way. At the developmental evaluation, if the team determines that your child is not eligible for services, they will discuss with you possible resources available in the community that will suit your child's needs. One of them, however, is that you should go back to your child's pediatrician and talk to them and let them know that your child's not eligible for services and that you would like other resources that may be helpful to them. Prior to even receiving a referral to Early Steps, if you're not concerned about your child's development, or if you're really not sure if they're going to be eligible for Early Steps, talk to your pediatrician and see what they have to say. Ask them if the service is medically necessary. Ask them for an appropriate referral, either to Early Steps or for a prescription for therapy services elsewhere in the community. If you need assistance in finding a therapy provider, we're more than happy to assist you. We have a family resource directory that's posted on the Easter Seals website that you can look at for, just go to the website, which is www.fl.easterseals, EASTERSEALS.com, and click on the family page, and the family resource directory is posted. You can see all the pediatric therapists that are credentialed that are available in Palm Beach County, and they can provide services to you as long as you have a prescription.